You came here looking for a secret, didn't you? You clicked because you believe there's a hidden map, a golden key that others were given at birth while you were left empty-handed. You scroll through their lives, their polished successes, and a quiet, burning question forms in your throat. Why them and not me? This question echoes in the dead of night. It poisons your morning coffee. It turns every small victory into a reminder of a much larger, invisible failure. You tell yourself it's about the system, about luck, about a game rigged from the start. But that's a lie. You know it's a lie every time you see someone with less than you start to build something real, something tangible, while you remain frozen, clutching a rule book you've memorized but never used. You aren't missing a secret. You are hiding inside a comfortable excuse, and that excuse is the only thing keeping you poor. This endless hunt for principles is your most sophisticated form of self-sabotage. You collect strategies like trophies, hoarding knowledge in a dusty corner of your mind, believing that one more book, one more video, one more seminar will finally unlock the door. But the door was never locked. You are standing in an open field, drawing blueprints in the dirt for a house you never start building. You mistake the motion of learning for the action of creating. You are the runner in a vast stadium, sprinting on an infinite track, glancing desperately at the person next to you, trying to mimic their stride, their breath, their pace. You think you're in a race against them, but the track is a mirror. You're not chasing them. You're chasing a distorted, perfect reflection of who you think you should be, and the effort is draining your soul. This desperate race isn't a path to wealth. It's your escape from the silence where your own voice is waiting. If this is hitting you now, you already know what to do. Subscribe, comment, share. Not for me, but to remind yourself of what you are seeing here. You think your poverty is a matter of circumstance, a cruel twist of the cosmic dice. And your mind is a masterful lawyer, arguing this case day and night to a jury of one. It presents evidence of injustice, of unfair advantages, of a game rigged before you were even born. You see the man with crude tools laying crooked bricks, and your mind whispers, he is reckless, he is lucky, his wall will surely fall. You see your own perfect blueprints, your flawless understanding of architecture, and it reassures you, patience, your moment will be perfect. This intricate web of logic is not designed to lead you to success. It is designed to protect you from the humiliation of trying and failing. It builds a beautiful intellectual cage around you, decorated with the comforting wallpaper of what if and if only. You aren't waiting for the right opportunity. You are waiting for a guarantee that you will not look like a fool. And so you wait, sharp tools in hand, as the wind blows your plans to dust. This is how the distortion works. You look at them, the ones building their crooked walls, and you don't see the sweat, the splinters, the moments of doubt. Your mind edits their reality into a seamless highlight reel. It has to, because if you saw their struggle, if you saw them bleed, you would lose your most precious excuse. You would be forced to admit that the only thing separating you from them is the willingness to endure the mess of creation. So you stand on the sidelines, the brilliant critic in a stadium of amateurs, pointing out every flaw, every misstep, every imperfection. You tell yourself this makes you superior, but that is a lie. This critical eye is not a sign of intelligence, it is a symptom of terror. You are terrified of your own first crooked brick, so you convince yourself that it is better to have no wall at all than to have one that is not perfect. Your comparison isn't a tool for motivation. It's the anesthetic you use to numb the pain of your own inaction. And here is the final suffocating truth. The money is not the point. It never was. You use the idea of wealth as a destination, a shimmering city on the horizon that justifies your endless, exhausting run. But you are not running toward anything. You are running from the deafening silence inside your own head. You are running from the hollow feeling that echoes in the quiet moments between distractions. The terrifying suspicion that without the race, without the comparison, without the grand project you are always about to start, there is nothing there at all. The obsession with principles and secrets is a noise machine to drown out the one question you cannot bear to face. Who am I without this struggle? You believe you are fighting for a fortune, but you are only fighting to avoid meeting the stranger who lives inside your own skin. Your poverty is not an absence of wealth, it is the presence of a void you refuse to fill. Look at them. Watch how they move through the world. Their eyes glazed over with a quiet desperation you know so well. They scroll through their feeds, a river of curated success stories flowing past their thumbs, and with every perfect image, they ask the same shallow question: how? They hunt for the secret morning routine, the one book that changed it all, the 5-step plan to guaranteed results. And you are right there with them, a ghost in the same machine, dissecting someone else's life as if it were a puzzle box, convinced there's a hidden spring, a trick latch. You all believe you are engaged in a noble search for knowledge, a strategic analysis of the game, but you are not. You are participants in a global ritual of envy, a mass distraction designed to make your paralysis feel like research. This shared delusion is not a path. It is a cage with 1 billion inhabitants, and the bars are made of hope. Listen to their conversations, the tired scripts they recite over coffee or cheap beer. It's a chorus of if-onlys. If only they had the right connection, if only they had started younger, if only they had caught that one lucky break. They speak of wealth as a lottery, a random act of cosmic favor bestowed upon a chosen few. And you nod in agreement, adding your own verse to their hymn of helplessness, because it's so much easier to believe the game is rigged than to admit you are afraid to play. You and everyone else around you are collaborating on a masterpiece of self-deception, a story so compelling that it feels like truth. You trade tales of unfairness and bad timing like currency, reinforcing a shared alibi that protects you from the terrifying weight of your own agency. This collective complaint isn't a critique of the system, it is the lullaby you sing to keep your own potential asleep. Observe their actions, the frantic, hollow motions they call hustle. They buy the planners, download the productivity apps, and fill their calendars with tasks that simulate progress. They are always busy, preparing, networking, optimizing, and strategizing. It is a grand performance of ambition. You do it too. You spend weeks perfecting the business plan, designing the perfect logo, or endlessly researching the market, telling yourself this is the responsible way to begin. But this is a lie. This is the modern architect drawing flawless blueprints in the dirt. You and the crowd are all sharpening your tools for a construction project that will never break ground. You have all become masters of the prologue, endlessly setting the stage for an act that never begins. You are not preparing for the work, you are using preparation to hide from it. You thought this was about money. You clicked the title believing it was about bank accounts and assets, about a tangible lack you could fix with the right formula. But that's the most beautiful lie you tell yourself. The title isn't about your wallet, it's about the cavernous hole inside your chest. You use the dream of wealth as a patch, a flimsy piece of cardboard taped over a void that threatens to swallow you whole. Every time you chase a new strategy, every time you envy another success, you are not trying to build a fortune. You are just running from the terrifying silence that screams you are not enough. And you know this. The frantic search for external validation is a desperate plea for someone, anyone, to look at you and tell you that you exist, that you matter. Because you are terrified that if you stop running, if you stop wanting, you will simply disappear. Your poverty is the echo of your own emptiness. This desperate need to be seen is a paradox, because your greatest fear is being seen. You stand in the shadows, watching them build their crooked walls, and you feel a surge of superiority. But it is not superiority, it is relief. As long as you are the observer, the critic, the one with the perfect, unexecuted plan, you are safe. You cannot be judged for a wall you never built. You cannot be ridiculed for a race you never ran. This is the bargain you have made with your own terror. You have traded the possibility of a real, messy, imperfect life for the sterile safety of the sidelines. And it is killing you. Every scroll through their feed, every comparison is another nail you hammer into your own coffin, sealing yourself away from the world of action. You are not protecting yourself from failure. You are burying yourself alive to avoid the risk of being seen. So you fill the silence with noise. The endless stream of videos, the podcasts, the articles, the self-help books, they are not your tools. They are your anesthetic. They are the loud music you blast to drown out the sound of your own quiet, desperate breathing. You are an addict, and your drug is the illusion of progress. But this addiction serves a deeper purpose. It keeps you from having to sit alone in a room with the one person you cannot stand, yourself. The unadorned, unimpressive, terrified stranger who lives behind your eyes. You have spent your entire life running from this person, building a prison of ambition and comparison to keep them locked away. You believe wealth is the key that will finally transform you into someone you can love. But that is the final, most cruel illusion. You are not poor because you lack money. You are poor because you have abandoned yourself. Imagine him. A man on a vacant plot of land with a pristine stack of bricks and the most flawless architectural manual ever written. This man is you. You spend your morning sharpening your trowel to a razor's edge, cleaning every tool until it gleams in the sun. You read the manual chapter by chapter, memorizing stress test data and advanced mortar mixing ratios. You feel intelligent, you feel prepared, you feel in control. Then another man arrives next to you with a rusty bucket and a handful of crude, worn tools. He doesn't read. He just starts. He picks up a brick, slaps on some mortar, and lays it down. It's crooked, and you smirk. You draw your perfect blueprints in the dirt, a masterpiece of theoretical engineering, feeling a quiet surge of superiority over the clumsy amateur. You tell yourself this is the smart way to build something that lasts. But this is a lie. You are not building a foundation. You are polishing the bars of your own cage. You watch him work, this other man. You see the thick mortar staining his clothes, the sweat dripping from his brow, the small bloody cuts on his hands from the rough edges of the bricks. And your mind, that brilliant defense attorney, whispers its comforting verdict. He is reckless. He has no plan. That wall will surely fall. You look back at your own immaculate tools, your profound understanding of structural integrity, and you feel a wave of reassuring calm. You are not making mistakes. You are waiting for the perfect conditions, the perfect moment, the perfect first brick. But this is not patience. It is terror. You are so petrified of laying a single crooked brick that you have convinced yourself it is more noble to have a perfect plan in the dust than an imperfect wall in the world. You are not avoiding failure. You are meticulously engineering it while calling it prudence. The sun begins to set, casting long, cold shadows across the two plots of land. The other man stands back, exhausted and dirty, and looks at his creation. It is not a fortress. It is not a masterpiece. It is a single, crooked, messy, and undeniable row of bricks. But it is real. It exists. It has weight, and it casts a shadow of its own. Now look at your plot. Your tools are still clean, the manual is pristine, and the beautiful blueprints you drew in the dirt are already beginning to fade as the evening wind picks up. You have nothing. You spent the entire day in a perfect simulation of work, avoiding the single, terrifying act of beginning. He didn't get rich because he had a secret. He simply chose to endure the shame of his own first attempt. And you stayed poor, the brilliant architect of a kingdom of dust. You walk down an endless corridor inside your own skull, and the walls are lined with mirrors. In every reflection, you see them.
the ones who are getting rich. Their successes are amplified, their struggles erased, creating a perfect shimmering mirage you can see but never touch. You press your forehead against the cold glass, whispering the question that has become the rhythm of your heart. Why them and not me? The words echo down the hallway, a mantra of your own making. You believe you are searching for an answer, for a secret hidden behind the glass, but you are not. You are hypnotized by the performance. At the end of this hall is a massive vault door, gleaming and impenetrable. You tell yourself this is where your potential is stored, waiting for the right combination. But you spend all your time studying the reflections instead of facing the lock. You are not poor because the vault is locked. You are poor because you are too afraid to find out it was never locked at all. This question, why you stay poor while others get rich, is not an inquiry. It is an incantation. It is the first brick you lay each day in the wall of your own prison, a structure built from envy and fear. You are not looking for an answer. You are reinforcing the bars. You see them walking freely on the outside, and you mistake their freedom for a special privilege, a secret they were given at birth. But their only secret is that they were willing to be clumsy, to be foolish, to lay a crooked brick in the open air, while you were busy building a perfect cage around yourself. Inside, you are safe from the humiliation of trying. You are the king of a one-foot kingdom of inaction. But the silence in here is deafening, isn't it? This entire prison was designed to protect you from one terrifying encounter, meeting the person you could have been if you had simply chosen to be brave. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the inmate of a prison you built with your own hands. You came here for an answer to a question: why you stay poor while others get rich. You thought it was an investigation into economics, a puzzle of opportunity and luck. But that was the final illusion. The question itself is the cage. It was never about them. The others you watch with such burning envy do not exist. They are a collage you've assembled from a million filtered images, a perfect phantom designed to make your own paralysis feel justified. You project your abandoned dreams onto them, and then resent them for living a life you were too afraid to attempt. This question is not a search for truth. It is a ritual you perform to absolve yourself of responsibility, a prayer whispered to the god of circumstance. You stay poor because you keep asking the wrong question, looking for the enemy in the world outside, when he has been living behind your eyes all along. The phrase is not a problem to be solved. It is the name of the prison you built for yourself. So the phrase echoes differently now, doesn't it? It's no longer a question about the world. It is a statement about you. Their richness is not in their wallets, but in their acceptance of the mess.
It is the wealth of the first crooked brick, the richness of sweat and splinters, the fortune found in daring to be seen as a fool while you hid in the sterile perfection of your plans. And your poverty? It is the hollowness of that endless corridor of mirrors, the emptiness of a life spent in rehearsal, the destitution of a soul that has traded the terrifying chaos of creation for the orderly silence of a tomb. You didn't come here for financial advice. You came here because you felt a void, and you hoped a secret formula would fill it. But the only thing that can fill that void is the person you were meant to become, the one you have kept locked away. The wall they built may be crooked, but it stands in the real world, and you have to wonder what kind of shadow your perfect blueprint casts from the dust.